Welcome to today's episode of the Konnekt7 podcast. I am your host, Thaddeaus Sims, and if you have been following me lately, share an episode with a friend so that they can tap in. And of course, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, chilling, vibing, whatever you're doing. For those of you who are watching me, I have my notes beside me so I can keep my shit in order. And before I go into the episode, I do have an announcement to make. Actually, a couple. So the first one is that I'm now starting to release 2 episodes a week. So if you've been following me since the beginning, I think y'all know about maybe like in the middle of season 1, I was cranking out like 2 episodes, and then I had to like slow it down just because of just like work and stuff like that. Right now, we're working on being more organized. So, yeah. So, 2 episodes a week. That would be for those of you who are in the States, that would be Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. EST is when an episode will be released. And then for those of you in New Zealand, that would be Thursday and Saturday at 12 p.m. in ZT. Now, that's the first announcement. First announcement. Second announcement is I just had time to reflect. And that's a big word lately. I've had time to reflect. And since I've changed the directions of the podcast, we're getting into more spiritual topics. We're getting into more of the tangibles, the magic and stuff like that. I I thought it would be great to just get back in touch with like nature and getting back into working with the seasons. And it came to me because this is something I've always wanted to do, was just do things that was in alignment with nature. And so I say that to say that these next episodes, they will have a theme. So it's going to be in the themes of the seasons. So we are in winter. So I'm going by the states here. We are in the winter right now. So just doing episodes with that winter theme and just doing things to help you guys get through the winter and utilize like the energies around you and this time period. And when you get in alignment, you'll see how things change. But I just want to let you guys know, like, that's what we're going to be doing. So from now till March 20th or 21st, I think it's March 20th, that's when spring begins. So yeah, from now to March, that's when we're gonna keep it the winter themes. We're gonna get back into nature here. We're not for to stay disconnected. And now, with that being said, we can get into the fun fact here. And the fun fact is the flashes of colored light you see when you rub your eyes are called phosphones or phosphones. That's just me being extra, but I believe it's phosphones. Phosphones. So phosphones. I don't know. I just kind of like to be a little bougie and say phosphones, but I'm gonna go with phosphones just to be correct. So that's a fun fact. And low key, I kind of want to rub my eye, but we're not gonna do that. Um, so let's get into this episode. So as I mentioned in the announcement, just getting back into nature. I've been meditating, just strengthening my connection with spirit, um, getting into connecting with the ancestors and things like that. In talking with the spirit and just practicing my practices, my magical practices, and so to speak, it was coming to me where we will say source, God, whichever you want to call it, was just like, hey, for your episode, since you're getting like back into the spiritual realm, why don't you just like collaborate with your ancestors on each episode? And I was just like, you know what? Yes, let's do that. And I say that to say that, yeah, my ancestors was kicking in on this episode. So I was like, all right, hey y'all, this is what I'm thinking we should talk about. And three of them, they came through the room and they was like, bet, this is what we finna do. And one of them was just like, she just kind of took over. She was just like, yeah, so we gonna talk about this. Now, the goal was again to align with nature. And so ran that by her. Ancestor was pretty much like, bet, let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to give you what she said, and then I'm going to give you my perspective with it. So the first part, ancestors, what she's saying. And then the second part is just kind of like me bringing it to y'all, regular degular type version. So first, my ancestor was like, to align with nature, you have to reconnect with nature, right? And she was saying you have to follow its rhythm, let the plants guide you. And so I was like, that's smooth. I like that. And I was just like, okay, so before I can even say, well, how does this how can they use this? She was just like, she kind of ignored me. She was like, just listen and write down. I was like, okay. So she was like, each season has its own rhythm in the cycle. And she broke it down. So she was saying in the winter, the trees and plants, they wither, trees lose their leaves. And basically what she's saying is that the plants are guiding you to end cycles, to rest, and allow times of quiet. I was like, okay, bet. The next season she goes into is spring. She was like, the plants, they start to bloom, and the trees, they're coming to life. And the plants are guiding you to just start new cycles, create new beginnings, use your energy for newer things. It's like, okay, I like that. And then she goes on to, in the summer, the plants and trees, they start to show off. They become lively. So she's like, the plants are guiding you to take action, invite vitality into your life, movement. And then lastly, she was saying in the fall, the plants and trees, they begin their transition, and it's that time of harvest. And she was saying the plants are guiding you to make transitions into your life, to reap the harvest of the work from previous seasons. And I was just like, okay. And for me, listening to that and then writing it down, because she was kind of going a little fast. Yeah, I said it. And I know I'm speaking fast because I'm kind of like excited about it all, but it's just kind of funny, just again, just collabing with your ancestors on something. Like, who does that? I don't know. So I was like, okay, I like that. And then she was like, since this is a collaboration, you need to add your take into it and basically 2023 version it. I was like, okay, bet. When it comes to winter, right? So I'm going to reference what she was saying. So winter, again, the plants are guiding you, to end cycles, rest, and allow times of quiet. My version of that is slow the fuck down, rest the fuck up, and reflect, right? So slow the fuck down, rest, and reflect. I've struggled with that personally. And I'm learning that there are seasons for all of these things. And when I'm out of season, I'm trying to do different things. It's just there's a lot of disharmony. Again, I'm not connected to nature, and so it was like I'm gonna say this too for you guys. They're saying this, and I'm also learning this with you. Like they've taught me this in my early stages, but I haven't really applied it every day because of just being out of harmony and work and shit like that. So we're all just kind of getting back in harmony here. So I'm kind of sitting like right here with y'all. And again, just applying these lessons, these energies around us. And so in this winter season, like it is now, it invites you to just slow down, rest up, reflect. And what I put in the notes was just like the world will always fight for your attention. So you just have to follow the cycles and chill out. What I mean by that is like we got social media, we got people texting us, we got emails, our bosses, our jobs, our responsibilities, our kids. We have so much shit that we have to do. The world is always trying to get our attention. And it's going to always happen. But if you follow this cycle, what's happening right now, if you look outside, look at the trees, for those of you in the States, and you see how, like, again, how the plants are, just like remembering, if anything, just remember that the plants around you are guiding you. And, with them withering and stuff like that, slow down, take a moment to just reflect, take a moment to just breathe and just rest. And rest, what I've learned, and this was something I literally had to learn. For some of you, rest doesn't necessarily mean like just sleep all day. No. I've learned that rest has a lot of different forms for different people. For me, rest sometimes is just laying on a couch, and I'm not going to bed, but it's just lighting a candle, laying on a couch, putting a little blindfold on just to kind of block out the sunlight. That's just me. I know I'm weird. And just breathing. And sometimes I may meditate, sometimes I may not. It's just a moment to just sit the fuck down and I kind of just listen. And if something comes, it comes. If it don't, it don't. And sometimes resting for me is literally just playing the game. That means like I'm not doing anything else. I'm doing something I enjoy. Just for the rest. And it may sound weird, like, but you're not really resting. I just had to learn that there's so many different forms of rest for everybody. And that rest could mean for you just like going outside and just keeping your phone away. I've found that my version of rest, and in this 2023 version, we're about to end it, but in this time and age, it's keeping your phone away from you for a bit and just giving yourself time to just breathe and listen to yourself, like reflect on what you feel, what's going on. And so that was like my take on winter. Going back to what my ancestor was saying in spring was just like, the plants are guiding you to start new cycles, create new beginnings, use your energy for newer things. How I translated that was like create goals and start new projects. Follow the ideas you've been keeping on the back burner. Now, I would say normally most people are creating goals, of course, January 1st and different things like that. I'm thinking of taking this approach because once I get stuff from my ancestors, I kind of go above and beyond with it. I'm thinking of like, okay, well, hey, if this is a moment of rest, reflection, and we're in winter, then maybe it's a moment of just like if I'm getting in harmony, kind of doing my goals in that spring equinox and just utilizing those energies that are promoting that. And I found that I would start stuff in January and then I would kind of forget about it. And then spring, there's all this new stuff. And then I'm like writing new stuff anyway. So I'm like, maybe for me, it's just best to kind of maybe do my goals and try new things and plan those things in the spring. That was just something that came to me when I was collaborating with them. And it's just, again, creating those goals, start new projects. The plants are blooming. So shit, why the fuck not? Why don't bloom with them? Then going into summer, again, she said the plants are guiding you to, take action, invite that vitality in your life, movement. For me, I translated that is get active, not be the bitch ass unless you need to be the bitch ass, but just get active, take action. Energy is at its highest. This is something when I started getting into like my practice, especially magic, I realized that during the summer, the magic seemed to be at its like highest, at least for at the time that I was practicing. The spirits was kind of active. There was just a lot of shit going on in the summer. You know what I mean? Drama, scandal, all types of shit. I'm like, the energies is just high. And it seemed like bitch's audacity was just high too. But let me focus. And basically it's just saying that just get active. Take action. You know, the energy is at its highest. Utilize the energies around you to propel yourself. Maybe you did have the idea and you wrote it down for spring and now it's summertime and maybe it's that time to like jump on it, look into the stuff. You have time, school is out, this, that, and the other. There's all this stuff going on. You take on that energy and just implement that into your life. And then lastly is just going into fall. And she was saying that the plants are guiding you to make transitions in your life to reap the harvest of the work from previous seasons. So I took this when it comes to transitions and then also me being a fall baby, it was always just like times of change, for me. So I put make change, transition out of the shit that don't serve you. I've just always found like, especially like in fall, it's like time goes by fast and so much shit is just like happening. Things are changing. You got you got Thanksgiving and stuff coming up. You just got all these holidays. It's just this time of like things just fit to change. So you just start doing shit differently. You start moving a little bit differently, and so it's just like transitioning. And again, there are some things that just don't serve you. So if you're following this rhythm of winter, you're resting. Spring, you're writing down your new goals and you're implementing and you're just writing down just different things and doing different things. And then, okay, that's probably your planning stage, you know what I mean? And then summer you're taking the action and you're doing stuff, and then it's just like now here comes fall. And fall is just like, all right, you've been doing this for a while. What's been working for you? What's not? This working for you, great. This not working for you, throw that shit out. You know what I mean? And the biggest thing, and this was hard for me, and it may be hard for some of you guys, was to reap your rewards and acknowledge your accomplishments so far. In this moment of transition, I noticed that I was always the type to just change shit up. And I never really reflected on the things that I accomplished. I never really reflected on my goals. I was just like, yeah, okay, we finna change this. I don't like this shit. It ain't working. Keep it moving. And it was just like, no, bitch, shit the fuck down. Reflect. Bitch, you did a lot of good things. Yeah, but I don't feel like it. That's because your ass didn't sit down and write down what you did. You know what I mean? You just moving. Take a moment to reflect, bitch. Like, you've been doing good. Give yourself a pat on the back. And it's like, okay, I did that, I guess. And so that's how it was. But now in this moment, like, I've been working in this winter of just like reflecting things. It's like I've learned that I needed to just give myself, those moments to acknowledge all the things that I've put the work in. And success, I've been learning, is not necessarily like you check something off. And it hasn't necessarily been you got this result. Success, I've been learning, has been about progress. And there is success in one, you had an idea, you put it on paper, right? And it may seem like that isn't much, and I promise you I had to get through this too, but it was just like, yeah, that's not shit. I just wrote it down, and it was just like that. A lot of people don't write it down. So that's a successful thing you just did. May seem small, but just give yourself, at least a moment of like, damn, okay, at least I wrote it down. And then you may do some action steps. You may look into it. You may do some research. You may get clarity. You may act on it. And then next thing you know, you're fully into it. And there's things you make mistakes. There's things you learn. There's tools you gather that you didn't know. And it's just like all those things are incremental successes. And I had to learn, like, those are just like kind of reaping those rewards because this was an idea and now you started to work on it. And because you're doing that, it's just these processes are just like coming and you start to gain new tools. You start to gain new thought processes. And it's like all of those things, equal to success. And it's not necessarily like, okay, I started this thing and the result is I'm a millionaire. And if you're just only focusing on I'm not a millionaire yet, then you're just not setting yourself up for success, because now you're just like, I ain't do shit. And it's like, bitch, you've done a lot of stuff. You've done more than most people. Hell, you done more than the neighbor down the street. So it's just like taking those moments to do that. With fall being that season again of transition, what I want you guys to get from what I'm getting from this and what my ancestors are telling me is just like, you have a lot of support around you. And it's great to know when to utilize that support, when to knowing when to do things and when not to do things, in simple terms. You know that this is a time you need to rest and reflect. This probably isn't a time that you need to be going crazy and doing this. Chill. You know this is a time that, okay, you really need to get active. You'll probably be better prepared to do it when you took the time in spring to know the new cycles you wanted to do. You have a bit of direction. And I'm learning that all of these things are just coming together. So I just wanted to make that episode for you guys. Again, even if you're not quote unquote spiritual, that's fine. This, I feel, helps a little bit of everybody who's in that spiritual, magical, tangible things. For those of you who are in the tangible, this is some time for you to, like, okay, this is some time for me to reflect, kind of get some shit together. For those of you in the magic, baby, them seasons, they be doing some things. So them seasons be having some effects on some of them spells out here. So I'm just saying, you already know that. And then for those of you who are spiritual, it's just getting back in harmony with nature, with spirit, and doing that will just help you. So that's it for this episode, guys. I wanted to share this with you, and I'm excited for this season to come for all of us. And with that being said, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will talk to you very soon. Later.